Welcome back to the Breaker Bros, and we're doing something a little bit different this weekend. We're going to do an actual instant reaction to the Bengals versus Bucs. So, Eric, what's your
instant?
Very instant. I feel like
Merry
we're the
Christmas.
first ones. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Tom Brady, Tampa
Even
Bay
though
Buccaneers.
there will be a New Year's Eve game next weekend, but anyways.
New Year's, wait, 2 weeks, right?
No, next weekend. Next Saturday is New Year's
You mean
Eve.
Christmas Eve?
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry. I said New Year's Eve, but I was thinking Christmas. You're right.
Okay.
Okay.
That
But
makes
anyways,
sense. That makes sense.
back to the
So
instant
Merry
reaction.
Christmas.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So the Bengals started off wanting to lose the game,
Right.
and then the Bucs were like, no, we're going to lose the game better, and they just kept giving the ball back to the Bengals, and eventually the Bengals took it away. I mean, the defense, what a performance, right? They left them out to dry. The offense left the defense out to dry. And then I guess special teams and defense won this game, right? I mean,
Well,
you give Burrow the ball enough, eventually they win, right?
Well, that's what's weird about the game, because starting off, right? Like if you think about it at the beginning of the game, we're rolling. It seems like the first three passes are first downs, right?
Okay, I was gonna say, how far in the beginning of the game were you going? I was
like literally, no,
the
beginning.
Not good.
No, the beginning.
Like the first three plays were good, and then
then you get that tip pass, right? And then they get the interception, which they capitalize, and then they take that whole. But basically, off that interception, they score that touchdown, right? And then our offense plays like crap basically the rest of the half until towards the end of the quarter. Because, we had, a minute left in the half, and that's when we scored. Like, we went down the field. I feel like we moved, 50 yards. Like, it was no problem.
Yeah.
Kind of like how we started the game. That's kind of how we ended the half. Luckily, we got the 3 points, which I guess at this point didn't really make the difference.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was 17-3. Or I guess it was 17-0 with, a minute and a half left in the second half, right?
Yeah. Do you want to pull up the Gambletron?
Yeah, let's do it.
You got the Gambletron 2000. All the data prepared just for us. And, yeah, you can see, right? Bengals start off. They are favored, right? Still favored. Hot start. Maybe that's what the hot start is. 428. We're feeling good. And then it just goes all the way down to a 24% win percentage. And then my guess is that this field goal bumped us back up. And then, the second half, not a good win percentage. And then, with all the turnovers, it just took off to the point where the Bengals won. So, did it seem like that maybe the refs were mad at Jamar Chase? Like, it was like they just decided that pass interference does not apply to him.
Well, at the very least, there was a lot of defensive holding, it seemed like. It didn't seem like...
Well, what about that one pass where the guy face masked him? Grabbed his face mask and ripped it before the ball even touched his hand. That's pass interference, right?
Yeah. I mean, by halftime, I had to, turn the sound off, because it was just sometimes I have to watch the game without, any sound.
In your cone of silence?
Well, it's just everything annoys me at that point, when I hear things. But it was funny because as soon as I turned off the sound, we just started get all these turnovers. So I'm like, there's no way I'm turning it back on. But I don't know what they were saying about that play. I guess it was just one of the things where it just happened so quickly, or maybe the ref didn't really have a good angle. Because the very same type of scrape against the mask, they called it a face mask before, right? So why wouldn't they call a face mask on that one? Because it was basically
they were, I mean, Romo said it was pass interference. He said they got away with it.
Oh, okay,
but they started off oh, that's good defense. And then you see just reach,
yeah.
Yeah.
And,
and it's just it's hard to, I think Romo's exact words were, it's hard to catch the ball when you're getting face mask with a hand in your face mask. Right. And it's just that's illegal. That's pass interference. I mean, there's so many soft pass interference penalties, like the one they called on Dax Hill. That was soft. He touched the ball.
Yeah.
Right? He got ball.
I mean, the only thing, really, he didn't turn around, but at the same time, he didn't really,
Yeah, but he hit the ball.
Yeah.
If he didn't touch the ball, pass interference all the way. But the second the defensive player touches the ball, he can tackle him if he wants. It's a tip ball at that point, right?
Yeah, if they touch it, yeah. or if someone touches it.
So I mean, yeah, I mean it's just such junk. But it doesn't matter. We won.
Yeah, like, well,
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Like the crazy part, like when I watched this game, this is where I felt like our defense should have been like a handful of other games where we get like all these turnovers and bunches. But was it Trey Flowers? He made an incredible
Trey
play.
Flowers made that pick.
He had that pick.
We found a tight end that Trey Flowers can guard man to man.
Yeah.
So he can at least guard a Cam Brate, not a George Kittle. I mean, I guess to be fair, I mean the Bengals did shut down the best tight end in the league, so maybe they
Kelsey,
figured it out. But,
well,
I mean, Trey Flowers, that was
I mean,
he was a blanket on that guy. Cam Brate he might as well have been sitting in the stands.
Well, every week is going to be like a different obstacle, but like, and then Reader, I think, I want to say, the linebacker initially caused a sack, like he was getting ready
to. Wilson had the sack.
Wilson, and then but Reader punched the ball out, and then we
got he punched the ball out.
So like
and then he punched the ball out so hard that Tom Brady's hand stopped working because like the next fumble was like Brady just like dropped it right off of Fournette's chest. It was just like wow.
Well, yeah, I don't know what they were saying, like I said, because it was mute at that point. But yeah, it was just weird to watch it because like the handoff seemed fine, but it was just like you could just tell.
No, the handoff was terrible because Brady had the ball, and then as he's reaching, it's like it was like squeezing a lemon, and it just shot right off his hand.
Yeah.
And bounce. So like Fournette's going like to get it right, and then before Brady could stick it in his gut, he squeezes it and it just pops out and hits him in the chest, and then that's no bueno.
Right. And then the crazy one was like the Pratt interception where he's like laying on the ground and the ball is just like floating to him. And
what about the presence? What about the presence of mind to give Coach the game ball? He's like, Coach, here's a game ball for you.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean the defense was like night and day between the first half and the second half because like the first half it was crazy. Just like, we were just like letting Tampa Bay.
Well, actually, to be fair, I think in the first half the defense made sure that they only played on that half of the field, and then the second half they only played in that half of the third quarter they only played in that half of the field, right?
Well, the second half was just so electric with all the turnovers.
Yeah,
and then credit to the offense, like we were converting a lot of those turnovers into touchdowns. And like this is like the game that you go back and you look at and you think this is why we have all the receivers we have, because everyone was involved. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, and then Chase, they all scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then the one really that sealed the deal, I guess, was the Wilcox at the end. That like I was kind of surprised on that one because it was like I was just kind of expecting him to run the ball out or run the timeout. But
yeah, but see, it's like once they flip it, right? Like it's just like once the Bengals go from being behind to being ahead, it's just like it just overwhelms the defense, right? They were in control. The defense had to sell up for the run, and it's just like, Burrow can do whatever he wants. Because, I mean, who do you trust more with the ball than Burrow?
Right. But I guess since we're doing like an instant reaction, who would you give?
Instant.
Super instant.
Instantaneous. Bang.
Instant live reaction. But who would you give the game ball to?
Does it have to be a Bengal? Can I give it to Tom Brady?
No.
Oh, okay. That's a tough one.
It could be anyone on the Bengals sideline, if that helps.
Does not help. How about you go first? I'm going to cheat and copy off you.
Well, it's tough, and I was kind of trying to help you out with that one because I would give it to Lou because like the second half, and credit to the players for making the plays, but it was just weird because like the first half, they were just moving the ball at ease. I'm like,
didn't it feel like every single completed pass was like the ball was 8 yards from the line of scrimmage, right in the middle of the field? Didn't it feel like every single completion was like
Yeah.
right there? It's just like, dude, just put somebody standing there.
Well, that was the thing. It was just like they were just moving, and they had answers to everything we're doing. And then the second half, it
Mhm.
was just different. They couldn't do anything, and then we were causing all these turnovers, and it was just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it was weird because like when I was watching the game, and like you just saw Tom Brady as the second half was going on, they kept on like showing him on the sideline, and it's just like he
Mhm.
just seemed so disinterested in the game. You know, like he was just maybe
Yeah.
that's part
Were
of
there
him.
pictures of like Giselle on the little iPad they're giving him?
I
It was
I
on Instagram.
Well, I think it's important for players not to let emotions take him over, but you could just tell like it was just. I think at some point you could just tell like he just let it go. You know, like he just it was out of his control. Like, I mean, even at the end they were playing to win when we were up after that last touchdown that we scored. Seemed like they scored their touchdown. You know, they were trying to do their thing, but I mean, realistically, they were never going to come back and win that game.
Right.
But it just seemed like he was just out of it. Like he was just like when you're down like that. And at one point when they initially started showing him, it was only like we were up like a score, right?
Mhm.
But you can just tell like, and another thing was like towards the end of like the third quarter and around the fourth, we just kept converting these like third downs and extending
Mhm.
like these drives, even though we didn't score on all of them. We just kept on extending it and just taking that time down. And even with that last series
Yeah.
where we scored
Yeah,
that
that fourth
touchdown,
quarter was pretty amazing because I think they said like there was one point on that drive where they were like, "This drive is taking 5 minutes."
but
It's just like, yeah, that's money.
but that's the stuff that's why other teams, really good teams, they go for it on fourth down and try to get those touchdowns and field goals because of that. Because like
Mm.
we just have a way of just converting, and I guess it's like the
Yeah.
Burrow effect or whatever. But yeah, I guess if I had to give the game ball, it's just Lou. I mean,
Mhm.
everyone. It was just it was one of those games where everyone equally played good and did their
Yeah.
part when their name was called. But it was just that second half, just Tampa couldn't do anything, and then
Yeah.
our credit to the players for making the plays and getting those
Yeah.
turnovers. But
Mhm.
just putting the people in the right position was key to me.
Yeah, I can't say. I think you're right on. Definitely defensive side of the ball, game ball, but I don't know. I guess I give it to Jermaine Pratt just because he was in the giving mood and gave it back to Zach Taylor. I mean, but that was a huge play. I mean, I think that pretty much ended the game right there. I mean, obviously the offense had to cash it in, but I mean, like it's sort of like that was the turning point in the sense of it was inevitable from that point on. Is what I'll go with.
Right, right. And shout out to Bricktop. He says, "How is Lou so genius in the second half? Also, was Brady salty as fuck at the end of the game? Seemed like it." uh,
Hey, well, tell everybody what you were doing right at the end of the game.
yeah, no, because at one point I didn't think Brady gave a handshake because we were still setting up the stream, and I went back and I saw it was quick, and then you could just tell he ran straight to the locker room. But yeah, no, I thought the same thing. But
Well,
yeah,
he's
no.
salty because he had to sign all those footballs for the Bengals defense.
Well, I mean, he's salty
If you get a
because
pick, he signs it, right? So
no,
he
I
had to
mean,
sign Jermaine Pratt's ball. He had to sign the fumble. I mean, he had a lot of work to do.
no, I mean, at the end of the first half, I'm sure they thought they had it in the game. I was having that feeling. Well, you know, like if it kind of felt like the Browns week. You know, we're just off a
Yeah,
week, and I was thinking, well, if there was any week that we're gonna lose, this would have been the week because it's a
yeah,
NFC team. But that second half was just felt magical. Like
yeah. No, it didn't feel magical to me. You know, it felt like being a Bengals fan, like during some of the lost decades, where it's like the Buccaneers played almost a perfect first half, right? And then you just watch it slip away, and it was like I felt bad for the Buccaneers fans because it's like I know exactly what it feels like to be like, okay, we're looking good, we might win this game, and then you just watch it slowly slip away with just random weird crap happening, right?
so. So Bricktop asked, "Do you guys know what we did in the second half to make an impact on the defense. You don't play football, so you just oh no worries. And we're kind of the same way. We don't know it like
we are football enthusiasts, not experts.
exactly. But I mean, I don't know. I would have to go back.
Maybe Lou's got like a magic 8-ball in the back, and he just shakes it up, and he looks at. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like it's hard to say because like when you're watching it live, you can't get like the all 22 film or the view, so you can only see certain things.
Yeah, that's what it is. We haven't looked at the film yet. Once Josh breaks down the film, we'll be able to. We don't know, man. We don't know. But it was fun.
No, it was really fun.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just remembered towards the end of the first half, I was like already thinking like, okay, well, just felt like Browns week.
We could be like the CBS like guys in the booth. We can say, well, you know, the Bengals really dialed it up. They won in the trenches, won the turnover battle, and then they won the game. That's what Lou did.
I mean, if I had to guess, I just felt like maybe they did something extra in coverage because it didn't seem like we were blitzing anymore. I mean, we did blitz a little bit more on like I guess like third downs and that type of thing, but it just seemed like when they threw in the second half, we were actually there versus like kind of like what you were saying in the first half. Everything that threw over the middle was open, so it was just like.
Yeah, I mean, there were some drops though. I mean, like that one pass was just a drop, right? Like Brady hit Gage like right over the middle to convert a first down. What's that?
Bricktop says, "How horrible was Tony Romo?" That was the main reason why I put it my game on mute because he was like dogging on Burrow for like at the end of the half, where I think it was like
whatever, man.
Yeah, I was like, he was like,
you've hated Romo for like 2 decades.
I did. I like Romo. I think he's a phenomenal play caller or whatever.
Golfer? He's good at golfer for a football player.
But yeah. I guess analysis or whatever.
I don't know.
But yeah,
man.
no, I just felt like
he's bad. He had like a nice run where it started, but I think he's lost interest and he doesn't even try.
I don't know. Some of the things I think is just maybe out of jealousy. I don't know.
You're jealous of him?
Not me. I'm just saying things that he may critique on other people because maybe he hasn't performed in the same fashion, right? Because think about it.
Yeah.
Dude goes in the second year of his career, goes to the Super Bowl. I know we lost or whatever, but like that's quite to take the Bengals franchise to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's different. That's different. It's not like taking Dallas to the Super Bowl or other teams with good ownership.
Oh yeah, he was making fun of the pinky injury.
Yeah, you know what? That really struck a nerve with me. It's just like he was getting treatment on the sideline. But it wasn't like he was like he didn't miss a snap.
No, he didn't, and I'm sure he's not going to make an excuse about it. But it does affect you to a certain way, and I'm thinking like if it's your throwing hand and you have one less pressure point on the ball.
Well, that it was a problem because they had him they put a glove. He was wearing gloves. They didn't say anything about the gloves he put on, and then he took them off.
To be fair, though, I mean, if I was going to take anyone's, I guess, advice off of it, it would be Tony Romo because he's played quarterback. So I think he would know, like, I guess, kind of like the effects of certain injuries.
Yeah, but he was dogging them pretty hard, though.
Yeah, but
he wasn't like, hey, this is important. He was like, oh, I guess we're to the point where pinkies matter.
I've had that type of injury where your skin is kind of ripped where the nail is. And it's like a painful type of injury. Like, you can definitely play through it, but, like, I would imagine, like, that does kind of affect your throwing ability to a certain extent. But, like, it wasn't the biggest deal, but at the same time, like, it seemed like he was being overly dramatic about it.
You mean Romo?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Romo is being overly dramatic. Joe Burrow did nothing wrong.
No, because, like,
he's awesome.
He'll go out there regardless.
But we did pick the wrong game to go to. We went to the freaking Cowboys game. We could have went to this game. This was on the list, right?
It was one of them. I think Tampa,
and then New Orleans we were talking about.
Yeah,
both
Force
wins,
Dallas.
and then we picked the loss. But
yeah, 4 touchdowns. 4 touchdowns. Kind of the typical. I feel like that's a typical Joe Burrow interception nowadays. Is like most of the ones that get intercepted are tipped at some point.
Yeah,
whether it's at the line or a DB batting it up, but it's those tipped balls. But yeah, 4 touchdowns. I saw that towards the end of the game. That was he tied his career high, which seems kind of crazy because you would think he would at least have 5 by now. But I feel like maybe that will happen before the end of the year. We'll see. But
yeah, we'll see.
It's I feel like it's trending the right way.
Yeah. You want to look at the playoff stuff?
Sure. Yeah, let's pull it up.
All right. Let's see here. So the Bengals now are up to 99% to make the playoffs. And with that Ravens loss, Bengals win, the Bengals are now in the driver's seat for the division. 60% chance now. So things are looking up. Things are looking way up. So, round bye. So you can get the bye even if you don't win the number 1 seed, 2 seed, the 1 and 2 get a bye.
No, it's just the number 1 seed.
Okay, then why does it say round bye? I guess that must be
because the NFC and AFC.
That must be their percent chance of winning of being the number 1 seed.
Right. Yeah.
Is 12%, which is equal to what their chances of make the playoffs were on week 3. Right. So things have trended in the correct direction.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like technically we clinched, even though it's
there's got to be some weird
clinched
5 tie.
Not necessarily.
There's got to be like some weird tie scenario that makes this greater than 99%, but not a check mark.
And when I
there
say
has
clinched,
to be some way with ties.
I think we clinched as far as making the playoffs, not necessarily the division yet, but
well, that's what I'm saying though. See, this says greater than 99%, so there has to be some weird way where a bunch of teams can tie for the rest of the season, and somehow the Bengals don't make the playoffs, right? But I think with like one more win or loss in the division, then this will click over to 100% clinch.
I'm fairly confident if we beat New England next week, we clinch.
I don't think there's any doubt because New England is one of the team. Well, I don't know what.
The only weird scenario would be like if somehow the Chargers and maybe the
Chargers are 8-6.
Here's the weird part: the Browns and Steelers are still in it, and then the Raiders. I'm not. Yeah, the Raiders just won. So
yeah, are you seeing my screen still?
Not yet. Here, let me pull it back up.
Okay, so this goes through everybody's chances of making the playoffs right now. So this column here, right? So the Bengals are greater than 99%. So some of the teams you're talking about, right? You can see their percentages here.
So
the Chargers are, I think so.
Oh wow, they ended up beating the Chargers.
Did they?
Well, you said the Titans won.
Yeah, no, that's what's. I don't remember who they played.
They played the Chargers.
58. Okay, so Chargers are still likely to make the playoffs. Look at this. How amazing would it be if the Lions made the playoffs?
No, Titans lost because the Chargers are 8-6.
Oh, but they're still going to make the playoffs because everybody else in their division lost?
Yeah, because the second team in the Titans divisions is the Jaguars.
Look how crazy this is. Look at the Buccaneers.
They're still a 73%.
73%. Look who they play next. They play Arizona, who will probably be on their 3rd or 4th string quarterback. And then they play Carolina, who doesn't matter who their quarterback is, should be a 3rd or 4th string quarterback.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, so you see the Patriots are down here at like 19%. So wait, let's see what happens if they lose to Cincinnati. That doesn't eliminate them.
I mean, it practically does.
Yeah, that clinches it for the Bengals. So they win next week, they're in, and then all their numbers go way up, right? And which would make like the Buffalo game super important. But
the Buffalo game
somehow the Chiefs would have to drop a game to somebody.
I mean, here's the play. I mean, we still obviously have the number 1 seed, but the worst case scenario, if we win outright, we get the number 2 seed. And what makes that so important is that guarantees at least 2 home games. So,
Yeah.
I mean, optimally, you want the number 1 seed because then you get their 3 home games. Plus, you're basically forcing the Bills and the Chiefs to play each other. Because if we don't get the number 1 seed, then that basically guarantee that you're probably gonna have to play.
Yeah,
the Bills
but
and the Chiefs.
either way, you're gonna have to beat the Bills, right?
Well, there's a scenario where you either have to play the Chiefs or the Bills, most likely, or you have to play both.
So
right?
is there a way to make the playoffs or make the Super Bowl without beating the Bills? Probably not. I would bet no.
Yeah, you would have to be the number 1 seed, right? Because
But how do you be the number 1 seed without beating the Bills?
Oh, I see what you're saying in the regular season. Sorry.
Right. At some point, you're gonna have to beat them. So I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, you'd rather play. You wouldn't want to go to Buffalo on the road, in the middle of the winter. Who knows what the game's gonna, you know what I mean? Who knows? I don't want to see that.
All right.
I don't want to see one of those 2 feet of snow games with Joe Burrow. That's not what I want to see.
Wait, did the Raiders? Yeah, the Raiders won. So that means
somehow the Raiders won.
That's right. That's right. So that means
Christmas, man.
Christmas.
Ramondre Stevens somehow arm punted the ball to a defensive tackle who just ran it into the end zone. It was the dumbest play I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, I guess before I guess we end this, do you want to do like quick prediction for next week against the Patriots? Or wait?
Yeah. No, we got that. We got that. Here's wait, let me refresh it, see what it says. There you go. All right.
They're only giving us 3.5 points.
Yeah. Bengals are favored by 3.5.
Well, I guess that makes sense because I guess they're considering them on the same level as the Patriots. So, or I'm sorry, the Bucs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess really the thing for me is I wonder how the weather's going to be. I know it's kind of early for that.
Mm-hmm.
If it's going to be kind of like crazy amount of snow, really cold, that could affect things. But I kind of feel like it should be like the Patriots game, or I'm sorry, the Bucs game. It's funny because like the second half was kind of like how I envisioned the game would be, where we're just like in total control for the most part. And, like, you just didn't really feel. But I guess you always got to worry about Belichick in some sort of fashion. But I don't know. I feel like because we know that this is probably going to clinch for the playoffs, that they're going to be playing for that, and I think they're still playing for the number 1 seed. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna be like one of those 27 to like 23 type games.
27 to 23. Who's winning?
Bengals.
All right. So you say 27 to 23. I'm gonna go 31-17 Bengals.
Dang, that's a very convincing win. I guess it's kind of like this week if you think about it, but
it doesn't work very good. I have to adjust the levels on that.
We'll tweak it a little bit. No worries.
Yeah.
But
all right, cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Appreciate. Shout out to Bricktop for all the comments.
But
yeah, we'll call it.